This is video 3, and we're going to do this one without any distractions. And I just muted my phone, so what happened last time I filmed this wasn't going to happen again. Alright, so this article is entitled Love, Sex, and Satisfaction in On-Again, Off-Again Relationships. Exploring what might make these relationships alluring. So, this is my literature review. Despite low relational quality, relationships are renewed and maintained. That is such a key characteristic of on-again, off-again relationships. So it's a poor relationship, yet the people keep on renewing and going back to it. About 2/3 of young adults experience cyclical relationships at some point during their life. Cyclical partners are more likely to face distress, uncertainty, conflict, and aggression. They also have less satisfaction and commitment. But regardless of all that, they still consciously make the decision to be together. And why is that? Well, there's little research on the positive qualities of on and off relationships. However, this article decided to look at it from 3 lenses, and that would be love, sex, and satisfaction. So love is a really difficult word to define. However, they operationally defined it in this study as being composed of 3 parts: intimacy, passion, decision, and commitment. The decision and commitment is the decision to be in love and the commitment to the relationship. The short-term decision of love with the long-term commitment to the relationship. The passion would be like the emotional connection, the excitement, that type of stuff. And then intimacy would be not only physical intimacy and physical closeness, but mental intimacy and emotional intimacy and emotional closeness. Relationships need satisfaction. Relationships should satisfy intimacy, sexual intimacy, emotional involvement, companionship, and intellectual involvement. Sexual satisfaction is related to overall relationship satisfaction, but there's no research on sex in cyclical relationships beyond having sex with an ex or having sex during dissolution phases, which about 50% of cycling couples have. It is suggested that sexual activity or satisfaction is the reason people renew relationships. This is their methodology. So they had 558 participants that were currently in romantic relationships that were at a Southwestern or Southeastern university over 2 semesters. Their ages ranged from 18 to 25, and it was an online survey. The participants were given an extra credit grade for completing the survey. So the first part of the survey was 45 questions on love, assessed on a 9-point scale, ranging from not at all to extremely, like you're going to read a statement and that's how much you agree with it. Then they assessed the importance of needs by taking those 5 needs that I mentioned before, and you basically had to measure how important that was to you, and it had to equal 100%. Like all 5 of them had to equal 100%. Yeah. And sexual satisfaction was 6 questions answered on the 7-point scale of strongly disagree to strongly agree. On global satisfaction, it was 5 questions, and perceived stability was 3 questions. Global satisfaction was 5 questions, and perceived stability was 3 questions, and they were ranked on the same scale that was from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Alright, so that's the methodology, and now we're moving on to results. Cyclical partners have lower relational quality, but we already knew that. That was something that's been established through previous literature. Less love, less sexual satisfaction, and their satisfaction of various needs as well. So now they're bringing love into it, and that's one of the first times this has occurred in these studies. Cyclical partners felt that sexual and physical intimacy were more important than non-cyclical partners. But they are still less satisfied in their relationships, in their sexual and physical intimacy is still less satisfying than those in non-cyclical relationships, even though they have a higher prioritization of it. Perhaps they're suggesting that love might increase during breaks where there's less pressure in the relationship. However, cyclical partners report less relational maintenance during the post-dissolution phase. there is also an association between passionate love and satisfaction in cyclical partners. So they're suggesting that cyclical partners value excitement over the practicality or the functionality of the relationship. And that's why they're so on and off, because once that excitement and that passion dims, then the interest in the relationship wanes and there's a drop, there's a termination. And then once there is a peaked interest again and that spark is back, then they go back to it. And there was also an idea that maybe only one half of the cyclical relationships partners, like one of them, only one of their needs was being met, and the other one, their needs weren't being met, and that's why it was a constant on and off. However, it was really clear that further research would have to be done to prove any of those suggestions. So to conclude, this study basically said that cyclical partners have less love, less sexual satisfaction, and less satisfaction of the needs suggested. Therefore, they really don't know what is appealing to these relationships, and their ideas are just suggestions right now. And that's all I have to say about it. Another sad one, but it's okay. We're moving on. That was video 3.